Welcome back, Yah Royal family, blessings family. I wanted to bring this information to you, which is spreading across the whole earth in so many places. So, when you think of Asia, Asians, whether it's Chinese, Koreans, or even Europeans, wherever they at, their birth rates are becoming very low compared to how many children per woman, or how many women, in regards that per, the children that is out there. So let's take a listen at this called Falling Birth Rate Can Lead to an Economic Decline.
The number of babies born in America last year falling to a 32-year low. Yes, about 3.79 million babies were born in 2018. That's a 2% drop from a year ago. So with the rate now slipping 4 years in a row, what impact does this fertility slump have on our future workplace and overall economy? Gary B., to you first.
Well, Liz, it's not good. This has been studied, actually. The National Bureau of Economic Research has shown that low fertility rates are directly correlated to low economic growth. Look no further than Europe and Japan in particular. Liz, let's just say the baseline is about 2 children per woman is kind of the replacement rate, if you will. Before Japan started dropping below that in 1975. Prior to that, their GDP growth was averaging about 6 to 8% per year. Since then, it has declined almost consecutively all the way down to it's barely 1% a year, the same as in Europe. That's why, getting back to our first segment, we need more immigrants, not less. We keep going this way, we're going to go exactly the way Europe and Japan has done with GDP growth.
It's pretty simple. People make the economy. The less people, the less potential of the economy. It's as simple as that. And Gary's right when he brings up Japan. Japan has head straight down.
So when it talks about bringing immigrants, it's not talking about, that they will take up space in their country, which, that can work great with their numbers to show the population. But they really means for them to intermingle and pregnate, different people who may not be able to, may have a low sperm count, or the women not fertile. That's what they're meaning. That for that, whoever they're bringing over to migrate there and become, a part of the area by, producing and having kids, whether it be with they of their own kind who came with them, or them to intermingle in the midst of the population as well. So another thing you're going to hear, one person is going to speak about when it comes to spirituality, that's something that, this world don't want to talk about it. So you'll hear him say that soon coming up.
Downhill since 1975, and their markets have head straight down since the 80s when they peaked out in that big gigantic bubble. So yeah, something that has to be addressed. And this does, as you said, Gary, brings in the immigration part there. We're going to need a lot more people as we move forward if these numbers continue.
By the way, it's not just Japan and Europe. It's everywhere in the world. It's Brazil. It's Mexico, believe it or not, or it depends on where you are demographically in terms of class. I don't think there's anything that's going to be done about this. The more affluent societies become, the more educated women become, the fewer children they have. It is true GDP growth will go down statistically.
So he literally saying that you get more educated about, getting the smarts to say, well, the more kids I have, the more money I'm going to pay out, childcare, food, hospital bills, such and such and such. So, he got a point there. However, he's going to try to make this look like, don't worry about it, it's going to be okay. But really, truthfully, family, they're missing the biggest part of it all. The Almighty is in control of all things. So let's continue.
But if you have a productive economy, fewer people, the same amount of money is still more prosperous. We are not used to looking at these things this way. But the reality is if you're producing about the same for fewer people, you are in fact doing somewhat better because the divisor is less. So I don't think this is all an unmitigated disaster. And it is also an inevitability, and it is happening not just Europe, not just Japan, everywhere.
The one giant exception, at least short term, on fertility is China, which had that horrible one-child policy, still grew at 8 to 10% a year. What really needs to get there, one reason you have the low birth rate is people don't have faith in the future. It's a spiritual crisis. We're not supposed to discuss that here. But it does reflect profound pessimism, and I think that's going to change if we make changes here and get this economy going and people feeling there's a real good future again. Well, we'll have babies again.
Well, as the one person here in this conversation that actually has to have the baby, let me just tell you, if you get equal pay and you get women more financially stable, they feel better about being able to take care of children. I am just telling you that anybody who's educated and is thinking about these things, you don't sit there and say, oh, let me just have a baby. You think, how am I going to afford this? How am I going to pay for that? What about the formula? Formula is so expensive. It does come down to economics.
But it is true the more educated women are. I mean, throughout Scandinavia.
Wow. So by you having a degree and you out in the workforce, and so you so accustomed to not so much doing the job, it's about you getting paid. So someone who's not educated or less educated, well, they don't have the desire or the potential because they don't have that money, because everything circles back to money, you know, when it comes to this wicked world. It just is the root of all evil, right? So, I mean, like I said, the one that's speaking more like, oh, you know, don't worry about it. It's going to be okay. Let's continue to hear it because he's still
even with huge health care embedded in the system.
Benefits.
Women do not tend to want to have more than 2 to 3 children once they have achieved a certain education. And
I wonder where all the crisis talk plays into this. I mean, every day we're hearing about everything's a crisis, the world's going to end, everything is a problem, and you read all the time about people saying, I'm just not going to have kids because of this.
Well, you absolutely right. The world, your world, going to come to an end. Your kingdom, yeah, is going to come to an end. You're right about that. And that's what they have been pushing, as though it's the whole earth will actually come to a standstill, whether you will go either to heaven or you will go to hell. They don't speak of the Bible of speaking that the kingdom that will be ruled by the Israelites, which the Almighty, the Most High Yah, Yeshua, and where the Israelites will be ruling in righteousness. They don't mention that part. They just like, oh, they up in uproar. Where's the reason why all this is happening? Because it is the decline. It is the dismantling of America. And when America, as it falls, the other nations, what they will fall too. Because what did they do? They drunk of that cup, that in the wrath of the Almighty going to come upon all of them. And it's all surrounding what? The Israelites, family. How significant are we in this matter? How significant of a time that we're living in? Wow.
Well, that's that pessimism. But remember, 20 years ago.
One more problem we have.
Quickly, Gary
One more problem we haven't talked about, though. The Social Security system has, almost since the inception, relied on more people coming in and paying for the system than taking out. We flipped that scale the other way, and we're already starting to do that with more retirees and people paying into the system. Gotcha. Now you have another problem. Social Security's already in trouble. Now you have less funds coming in that are being taken out. We have another financial calamity on our hands.
Oh, joy.
I did my part. I have 2 great kids. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
we had 5, so.
Yeah, that's right. I came from 5.
Winner.
So there you go, family. Point blank, period. Now they're seeing that this brilliant idea they had about Social Security. Oh, you just, put all this money in. They take all this money out your checks, right? And then as you get older, you will be able to draw, but it will fall on the ones who are younger coming up. Well, if there's no ones younger, they're not, being born, and they want to say no, it's because they got smarter, they got more educated. They know the difference between, what it is. If you have more kids, you have less money for you to spend. How self-absorbed are we? But it's more deeper than that. It's to the point where this is all a part of. It's showing first from a spiritual aspect that this world has to get to a place where it will crumble. So what not a better way that the Almighty is doing, and I want to say that he's doing, to actually have it to whereas there will be more deaths than births in certain nations, not all nations, because our people on the continent, they booming. They sitting at 7.1. Niger sitting at 7.1. Okay, compared to America at 1.7. You hear what I'm saying? That's including with the so-called blacks and the Hispanics. So you know the so-called whites got to be so very, very, very low in their, birth rates. So I just wanted to share this news with you, our family, and I'll do as I'm led and bring forth to let you see what's going on in this world, how things are happening right before us. Everything is being reversed right before us. It ain't a sudden move at this time, but it's happening, family. The reversal is happening right before our eyes. Again, brothers and sisters, if you have not repent. Start keeping the commandments. Seek the Most High Yah. Build that relationship and understand and know what time it is. Love you, family. Blessings. Shalom.